Hey, what's up, guys? Today we're going to be playing some Spirit Island. Um, this is one of my favorite games. There's just so much depth and complexity. Um, it really is quite a unique game. So hopefully that shines today. Um, we're going to be playing with Downpour, Drenches the World. So this is one of the new spirits from Jagged Earth. Um, all the spirits I've played in Jagged Earth have some really unique mechanics. Really freshened up the roster of spirits. Um, and today we're taking on the Habsburg monarchy, level 3, which is difficulty 6. And their initial explorer was into the wetlands, um, which actually starts with a town in land number 8 on board C for this adversary. Um, so that could get tricky quite early in that land, but we'll see what we can do about that. So yeah, let's get started. I think for the first turn I'm gonna choose growth 2, which will allow me to put 2 presents out. And I think I'm going to put one there and one there, both in range 2. So that will get me 2 water as well. And I will discard for that Gift of Abundance and Unbearable Deluge. And I'll get 1 energy from my presence track. And I think I'm going to play Foundation Sink into Mud. And I'll pay for that using the energy that I just gained. So that'll give me 1, 2, 3, 4 water. So I'll put these 2 for Downpour Special Rule, which allows pour down power across the island for each 2 water that I have. During the fast slow phase, you may either gain 1 energy or repeat one of your land targeting power cards by paying its cost again. So I guess I'll wait until the slow phase to take those. So we'll move on to the invader phase. There's no blighted island effect event, so Jagged Earth rules, we won't resolve that. There's no fear cards. We're building in the wetlands. So level 1, Migratory Herder. So level 2, because we're building a city in land 8, it actually, instead of building a city, they build 2 towns. And then in land number 5, they build a town. And then for level 1, we have to gather a town into each of those lands from lands not matching the wetlands build card. So I think for that it makes sense to gather this town in there, and then there's no town that we can gather in there. I think probably gonna let level land 8 blight on this turn, and yeah, I probably could have stopped that with a repeat of this, but then I would have been risking a Blight Cascade here if I didn't draw a defend card, because I don't think we're going to have enough defend in there in turn 2. But let's see how it plays out. So slow power phase, or sorry, explore first. So they explore into the jungles. There. Invader cards advance. And so we're ravaging in the wetlands next turn. And then we move on to the slow power phase. So I'm going to take the 2 for there. I'm going to exchange 1 of them for 1 energy. And then I'm going to use the repeat of that later as well. So if target 2 damage to a town, if target landed is wetlands, you may instead deal 1 damage to each town or city. So I think I'm going to target this land, number 5, and do 1, which is a wetland, do 1 damage to each town. And then I'm going to repeat it and take out the 2 towns, which generates 2 fear. And then that is the end of the slow power phase. We discard that. And time passes. So anything that was damaged heals. Nothing there was damaged. So yeah, and I'll remove those 2 waters, which I gained as part of growth 2 for the last phase. Okay, so moving on to turn 2 then. I think for this turn I'm going to do growth option 3, which allows me to gain a power card. So I think I'm going to go for a minor, this one. So I choose 4. So the first is, can you see that? Prowling Panthers. So that's 1 fear, add 1 beast, or if target land has beast, destroy 1 explorer town. Has to be used in a mountain or jungle within range 1. The elements don't really look that attractive for Downpour. Inflame the fires of life, add 1 disease, or 1 fear, add 1 strife. If you have 3 animal, you may do both. Again, can target any land as long as it's within range 1 of a sacred site. The plant element is quite good there, but unfortunately there's no water. Flow down river, blow down wind. Push up to 1 blight or explorer or town in any land within range 2 of a sacred site. That has very favourable elements there, particularly for innate 2, but also innate 1 because it has the air as well. And then growth through sacrifice. Destroy 1 of your presence. Target spirit chooses to either remove 1 blight from 1 of their lands or add 1 presence to 1 of their lands. If you have 2 sun, you can do both in the same land. And this has pretty good elements as well, water and plant. So I think it's probably going to be between growth through sacrifice and flow down river, blow down wind. I think the one I'm going to choose is growth through sacrifice. It's such a strong card, and I think it probably works better in this situation. So I'll choose that. Discard. I'll place 1 presence within range 3. So I'll place that in land 6. That's then counted as a wetlands, in addition to the sands as a result of the Drench the Landscape special rules, and I'll gain 1 energy as well, and then 1 energy from the presence track. So I have 2 card plays. I'm going to play these last 2 cards. I'll play Dark Skies, Loose a Stinging Rain. So I'll resolve growth through sacrifice first. Destroy 1 of your presence. I'm going to destroy this. Target spirit chooses to either remove 1 blight from 1 of their lands. I could remove that, but it's ravaging this turn, so that's gonna that explorer is going to be destroyed by the retaliation from Dahan. So I think I'll add 1 presence to 1 of my lands, and I'm going to choose from the energy track, which reveals another water. And I'm going to put that there in land number 6 from where we just destroyed, so it becomes a wetland again. So in total I have 1, 2, 3, 4 water, and that will give me 2 for pour down power special rule. I'm going to exchange 1 of them for energy, and I'm going to repeat Dark Skies, Loose a Stinging Rain. So I'll resolve this. I will isolate 1 land within range 1 of a wetland. I'm going to isolate this land, using, I'll use this red token, and I can push up to 1 explorer and up to 2 Dahan. I'm going to push this explorer in here. Yep, and then I will pay the repeat cost using my special rule and target this land here, which is within 1 of a wetland where I have presence. I will isolate that and push this explorer in there, and that is, I do have a defend as well, so I have 1 air and 4 water, so I get tier 1 of rain and mud, which will allow for defend 1 in each of target sphere's lands. It only really applies in this. I mean, I could defend 1, and it also reduces the Dahan counterattack by 1 as well. So that's the end of the fast power phase, and we'll move on. There's no blighted island effect. The event card is distant exploration. So terror level 1, during the explorer step, invaders explore at +1 distance. So a land 2 away from a town, city, ocean will be explored into. Then the disease effect, Grim Toll. On each board, choose a land with disease. In that land, do 2 damage to invaders and 2 damage to Dahan. That's actually quite positive. The only land with disease is land 2. So we do 2 damage there. That destroys the town, generates a fear, and there's no Dahan in that land. And then 1 fear per land with invaders where Dahan outnumber towns or cities. Okay, that's quite good. So we have 1 land there, which will generate 1 fear. That generates a fear card, because 2 Dahan outnumber 0 towns or cities. And the same again in land number 5, generates 1 fear. And that's the end of the event card. So moving on then to the fear cards. Terror level 1, each player adds 1 strife in a different land with at least 2 invaders. Land number 8 is going to blight anyway, so I think it probably makes sense to add this to the only other land that has at least 2 invaders. So we'll add it to the city in land number 2, and that's that. So Ravage then, ravaging in the wetlands. This is defended. Dahan retaliate. We destroy the explorer. Land number 8, so that's going to ravage 2, 4, 6, 7. So the additional loss condition only kicks in when the ravage does 8+ damage. So that land gets a blight. That's the end of the ravage step. Moving on to the build, we're going to build in the jungles. There's nothing to build there, nothing to build there. They're also isolated, but there is no adjacent town, so I can't carry out the migratory herders for level 1 Habsburg, so that worked out quite well. And then we move on to first stage 2 explorer card. It's the jungle, so that's actually quite good given they're isolated. So there's no, they don't actually explore into the jungles, even though there is a source because of the isolation. The escalation effect then, after exploring, on each land with 4 or fewer blight, add 1 town to a land without towns or blight. On each board with 2 or fewer blight, do so again. So I have 2 blight, so I will need to add 2 towns to a land without towns or blight. So I think it makes sense to Hmm. Um, I mean, wherever I add it, probably best to add it there and there. No, there. Because then next turn there will be no time to gather in, because we have a double jungle coming up. So I think that's probably the way I'm going to go with that. And yeah, that's so invader cards advance. So we're ravaging in the jungle and building in the jungle next turn. No slow powers to do, so time passes. We'll remove those, discard that. So next turn then, I'm going to take growth option 1, reclaim cards. And move the presence there from the sands in 6 into the wetlands in 8, for a growth option. And then I'm going to gain a minor power card. So unquenchable flames, 1 fear, 1 damage to town, city. Invaders do not deal damage at the end of the turn. If you have 2 fire, you can add a Badlands. Confounding Mist, defend 4, or each invader added to target land this turn may be immediately pushed to any adjacent land. That has quite attractive elements. Gift of Nature's Connection, target spirit either gains 2 energy or 2 of a single element of their choice. If you target another spirit, you gain an element of your choice. And then Haunted by Primal Memories, 1 fear, defend 3. If beasts are present, +2 fear. So I think it's probably going to be between these 3. I like Confounding Miss the elements, although I do have plenty of defend ability. Unquenchable Flame, that looks quite attractive, because I could pair that with Growth Through Sacrifice to get the Badlands out as well. And it would allow me to do some damage, which I seem to be lacking quite a bit with this spirit. And then this one, again, quite a good fear generator, especially given that we will be ravaging in the jungle next turn because of the migratory herders, which will probably gather the town in. So I think I'm going to take Unquenchable Flames, mainly because I don't have that much damage dealing ability at the moment. So we'll take that. We'll gain 1 energy from the presence track, so it leaves me at 2. So now choose powers to play. I think for this turn I'm going to play Foundation Sink into Mud. And also Gift of Abundance. So that's going to cost me all my energy. And that gives me 4 water elements, which I'll use in this slow phase, I think. So we'll resolve Gift of Abundance. Target spirit either gains 2 energy or may repeat 1 power card this turn by paying its cost. I'm going to take the energy. So it gives 2. Either you or target spirit may add 1 destroyed presence to a wetlands where you have presence. So I'm going to take that presence and place it, I think, there. And so that's that resolved. And yeah, no more fast powers to resolve, seeing as the Ravage is not going to... I'll remove those isolates from the last turn, actually. The Ravage is not going to impact us this turn because the jungles are currently empty. And we do not meet. We don't have the 2 plants, unfortunately. So, Blighted Island effect, we're still healthy. Event card is Promising Farmland. When exploring, once per board, place 1 town instead of 1 explorer. Okay. Beast provoked on each board, add 1 beast to a land without blight that has towns. Okay, so I can either add it to 7 or 3. I think I will add it to, let's put it in 3. And then canny defense during ravage in every land, defend 1 per Dahan in the land. So that's not going to apply. Fear cards, there's nothing generated. Ravage in the jungle, no ravage. Building in the jungle, not going to build there, won't build there. Migratory herders do kick in. So in each land matching a build card, gather 1 town from a land not matching a build card. So I think for this I'm going to gather this town in there, and there's no town to gather into land number 1. So move the explore step then is coastal lands. So as a reminder, when exploring, once per board, place 1 town instead of 1 explorer. So we're going to have 2 explorers and 1 town to place in coastal lands. And I think for this I will I could deal with that. So I think so give me a city. I'll put the 1 explorer there, 1 explorer there, and the town in here. So invader cards advance. And now we move on to the slow power phase. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 water, which gives me 2 tokens for pour down. I'm gonna carry out this foundation sink into mud, target land number 8, which is a wetland, so I can do 1 damage to each town or city, so 1 damage to each town. I'm going to use 1 token to repeat that, which takes out the 3 towns there, generates another 3 fear and a fear card. I think I'll cash this in for 1 energy, and I'll use this to repeat it again, and this time I'm going to target jungle, which gets rid of that town and generates 1 more fear. It's the end of the slow power phase. So we discard those. So I think for this turn, I'm going to take growth option 2 and take 2 off the top track and put them in land number 3. That will get me 2 water as well. And I'm going to discard Unbearable Deluge and Dark Skies Loose a Stinging Rain. And then I get 1 energy. And I'll play these 2. Cost of 1. So we're playing Unquenchable Flames and Growth Through Sacrifice. Gives me the 2 fire elements, which will allow me to put a Badlands down using unquenchable flames. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 water. I think I will destroy this presence. And then I will add this to land number 4. Actually, no, I'll land it to land number 6. And that, I don't have the 2 suns, so I don't get that. I do have 1 air and 3 water, but it's not going to, I'm not going to need the defense, but I do have 3 water. Well, actually I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 water, 1 earth and 2 plant. So I actually gain 1 energy for number 1. You may remove 1 blight by removing 1 of your presence from target land. I think I will remove that blight by removing my presence, and then gather +1 energy, or gain +1 energy, sorry, and gather up to 1 Dahan. Do I want to do that? We're going to build. No, I won't. I won't gather any Dahan. So that's the end of the fast power phase. Sorry, that was at range 0, so I could target that land. So moving on to the invader phase, we're still healthy. Event card. So smaller ports spring up. We're in stage 2. So on each board with exactly 1 coastal city, add 1 town to a coastal land without city. I think it's going to make sense to put this into land 3 because the jungle's ravaging this turn. In lands with disease, strife, invaders skip ravage actions. That's not going to apply. And then choose a land with towns and Dahan. Push 1 town per 2 Dahan there. So I think I'm going to have to push that in there. So moving on then, the fear cards. So we're still at terror level 1. Immigration slows during the next normal build. Skip the lowest numbered land matching the invader card on each board. That would be land number 1, but that is going to be empty, so that's a bit of a wash. Ravaging in the jungle, 1 damage to the Dahan. He retaliates, takes that explorer out. Nothing in this jungle. Building in the coast, nothing there. Disease prevents the build there, and this gets a city. And then we move on to the explorer phase. They're exploring into the sands. There's no source in there, but there is there. And then the escalation effect. 2 towns. I think I'm going to place 1 there and 1 there. Although I could put it in here actually because I removed that blight. Yeah, let's do that. So, invader herds advance. So we're ravaging in the coastal lands next. Slow power phase. So unquenchable flame. So I have 2 fire, which will allow me to add a Badlands within range 2. So I think I will add that into land number 2. And then so we have 1, 2, we have 6 water, which gives us 3 tokens here. So 1 fear, 1 damage to town, city, I think I will do. I will take this 1 damage there, plus the Badlands damage takes that 10 out for 1 more fear. I could repeat this 3 times, which would allow me to take. It would use up all my energy, but see, if I put Badlands in here, it will take out the dam, which would not be ideal. I think I will repeat it twice, targeting land 2 as well. So I think I can add a Badlands for each time I repeat it. So the first repeat gets 1 Badlands. So we do 1 fear, that generates another fear card. 1 damage to town. That will take the town or the city out, sorry. Because there's now 2 Badlands. So the strife goes away, that generates another 2 fear. So we're 1 away from a terror level 2. So I have 1 more repeat. Do I want to use it though? I don't think I will actually, because I might be able to defend that next turn. So I'm gonna only use 1 repeat. I'm gonna take 2 energy for these instead. So that's the end of the slow power phase. We clean up. Discard. Okay, so we'll also remove these 2 water. The Dahan heal. I think growth option 1, I'll reclaim cards. So here I'm going to gain a power. I think I'm going to gain a major. 3. Focus the land's anguish. It only has a sun element, and it's rather reliant on blight, which I only have 1 on the board for, so I don't think that's a starter. Instruments of their own ruin. Oh, I love this card. Add 1 strife. Each invader with strife deals damage to other invaders in target land. It has an air and a fire, but no water or plant. So that's definitely a contender. 1 fear, 2 damage, isolate target land. After invaders, Dahan are moved into target land, destroy them. Plus 4 damage if you meet the threshold, add 1 blight, add 1 wilds. That does have quite attractive elements, although it can only target sands and wetlands. And then walls of rock and thorn, target mountain or jungle, 2 damage, defend 8, add 1 wilds, isolate target land. If you have 2 earth and 2 plant, plus 2 damage, plus 2 defend, add 1 Badlands. That is, I think it's between Instruments of Their Own Ruin and Walls of Rock and Thorn. And I think I'll go with Instruments of Their Own Ruin. It's just such a strong card. So for that, I'm going to forget. I think I'll forget Unquenchable Flames. The minor again earlier. So I can move presence up to 2. So I think I'm going to move this there, and then I'm going to use this move of presence. this here using that ability. And then I will gain 2 energy from the energy trap. I can play 2 cards. I think I'm going to play Instruments of Their Own Ruin. And I think Foundation Seek into Mud as well, which will give me 2, 3, 4, and 1. So I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 water. And I'll hit that, the first level of that. Although, that would mean going Blighted in land number 2, which I don't really want to do, but they are building there. Yeah, I think so. I'll take that back actually, and instead of moving into land 2, I'll leave it there. I won't move anything. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, so fast powers. So add 1 strife. I'm going to add that to the city. Each invader with strife deals damage to other invaders in target land. So I'm going to take out the town and the explorer, which generates another fear. I don't meet the elemental threshold, but I do have each presence grants defend 1, so I have a defend 2, 4. Oh no, sorry, 2. 2 in that land, and it lowers the hand counterattack damage by 2, so I will only retaliate for 2 in that land. Perhaps then I should have left the explorer and done the 1 damage to the city instead, because then it will take, I'll be able to destroy that. Okay, so that's the fast power phase over. That's resolved. Although I have only one plant, so I don't meet this. I cannot repeat Instruments of Their Own. Okay, so we move on. We're still Healthy Island. Event card. Resourceful Populace. We are at terror level 1 still. For the rest of this turn, after an action destroys 1 or more towns or cities, add 1 town to an adjacent land. If there are no adjacent lands, e.g. do dice, they don't add anything. Okay. On each board, add 1 disease to the inland land with the most towns, cities, minimum 1. So 1 disease goes. I'll put that there. Each spirit with at least 3 Dahan among all its lands gains 1 energy and may reclaim 1 card. So I gain 1 energy, but I have no cards to reclaim, unfortunately. Terror level 1. Each player removes 1 explorer town from a land where it is the only invader. That's very good. I think I will remove this. That's a good one. Okay, so coastal land ravage. Ravage in the jungle, nothing. We take a blight in the land number 2, and we're defended for 2. The strife is removed. Sorry. It was free for the rest of the turn. After an action destroys 1 or more 10 cities, add 1 town to an adjacent land. Okay. Just gotta remember that. So we're defended. It's doing 3. We're defended for 2. The hand retaliate for 2. We destroy that city, generate another 2 fear. So that brings us to terror level 2. And because we just destroyed a city, we add one town to an adjacent land. So I think I'll add this to, so we've seen a jungle, so they're not going to explore there. Okay, so that's that resolved. Building in the sands, nothing to build. We're building a town in land 2. And then migratory herders kicks in, so I'm going to gather this town into land number 2. And then there's nothing to gather into land number 6. And we are exploring into mountains. Okay. So there's no source for this mountain, and we get one there. And then the escalation, so we still have to add 2 towns to at one time to a land without towns or blight, so I'll add that there. And we're ravaging in the sands. I think I'll add that there. Okay, so that's Invader Herd Advance. Ravaging in the sands next. Okay, so slow powers then. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 water, which gives us 2 here. So I can do 2 damage to a town. At range 0 as well. So I think it's going to make sense to I think I'll take this time, which generates a fear, and then I think I will repeat once to take out this time, which generates a fear, and then I think I'll repeat it again to generate or to kill this time for 1 fear and another fear card. So that's the end of the slow power phase. These go in the discard. And now we move on to growth. So the next turn then, I think I'm going to choose growth option 2 and take them both from the top track. I put them into land number 2. Again, 2 water. And I will discard Gift of Abundance and Unbearable Deluge. It gives me 2 energy off the energy track. One of which I'll use for Dark Skies, Lucis Stinging Rain. So growth through sacrifice. Well, first of all, elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 water. So that will give me 4 tokens. And I'll convert, well, let's do the growth through sacrifice first. So destroy one of your presents. I'm going to destroy that. And then I will add, I think I'll add presents into a or into any land. So I'll add that there. And then, yeah, I'll do that. I will use water nourishes life's growth, so I have 5 water, 1 earth from the track, and 2 plants. So I get to level 2, so I gain 1 energy for level 1. I might remove 1 blight by removing one of my presents. lands. Yes, I do. So I'll remove that. And then gain +1 energy for level 2. I may gather 1 Dahan. I do not want to do that. Okay, so that's done. That's done. We can now do Dark Side's Lucis Stinging Rain. Isolate target land, push up to 1 Explorer and up to 2 Dahan. I will... So this counts as a wetland. I will push this Explorer there and up to 2 Dahan. I will leave those Dahan there, and that is going to be isolated. I will then... I will repeat that card by playing cost again. 1 away from our wetland. I'm going to isolate that land. We will isolate that. I'll repeat it again. And repeat it in this land again. I think I can do that. Push up to 1 Explorer and up to 2 Dahan. I'll leave the Dahan. I'll push the Dahan this time. So we're isolated there. And then I will use these 2 for energy. We get 2 energy. And that is the fast power phase over. Both of those are resolved. We move on. Invader phase. So we're still Healthy Island. Event cards. So Sacred Sites under threat. So I have 2 choices here. Each Sacred Site pushes 1 Explorer Dahan to an adjacent land. Remove 1 Blight per player from the Blight card, returning it to the box. Or I can pay 3 energy per land where I do damage, aided by fire. In each land with a Sacred Site, and invaders either do 2 damage or destroy 1 presence from each spirit. So I have no Sacred Sites with invaders. So that piece should be in there. So I think I can choose the second option, and because I have no Sacred Sites with invaders, I don't have to destroy any of my presence, and I can't do any damage. Okay, so that's that. Each beast generates 1 fear if invaders are present and moves to an adjacent land if not. Okay, so we generate 1 fear for the beast in land 4. Moves to an adjacent land if not, so we'll put that there. And then each spirit with at least 4 Dahan among its lands gains a minor power. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, so I can get a minor power. 2, 3, 4. So if they're Dahan, add 1 Dahan. If they're no Dahan, remove 1 Blight. Gather up to 2 Dahan. Dahan have +2 health while in target land. Destroy 1 Explorer and 1 Dahan. Add a Wiles and defend for 2. Replace 1 Explorer with 1 Dahan. If I have 2 moons, I can replace a town with a Dahan instead. Tempted with that Call of the Dahan Ways. Yeah, I'll take that. So that's the event card over with. Fear cards, so we're terror level 2 now. Each player replaces 1 Explorer town with 1 Dahan in a land with 2 or more Dahan. So I'm going to replace this town with 1 Dahan in land number 4. Yep. And then in each land with 2 or more explorers, destroy 1 explorer town per 2 explorers. Okay. So land number 2, destroy one town, generates another fear, and that is all for that. So ravage step, we're adding a blight to land number 2. No ravage in 6. Building in the mountains, no builds. They're also isolated, so I don't have to gather town into there. There's no town to gather in there. And we're exploring into the sands and the wetlands. So sands, there's a source there. There's no source there. There's a source there, and we have a source there. And that is the end of the invader phase. The invader herds advance. So we're ravaging in the mountains next. There's no slow powers to resolve. So that is the end of this round. Discard them. We'll remove these 2 water, and this turn I think I'm replaying cards. Again, I think a major. 1, 2, 3, 4. Trees radiate celestial brilliance. That could be useful. 3 fear defense 6. Well, we're not ravaging. Remove those isolate tokens. Invader 6 next build action. Okay. Add 1 disease if target land is jungle or wetlands. 2 fear and 3 damage. That could be interesting. Ooh. That could be very interesting. Volcanic eruption. I don't think I'm going to be able to afford that. And then strangling firevine. Destroy all explorers. Add 1 wiles. 1 damage per wiles in adjacent target land. I think I may try this. 2 fear, 3 damage. So I'm gonna have 3. I'm gonna have 5 energy. So I go. I think I'll take Smothering Infestation. And for that I will forget Unbearable Deluge. So for this turn I think I'm going to play Foundation Sink into Mud. Well, first of all I want to move this presence to there. And then I will use one of my move. Actually, no. I will move. I will use move a presence 1 to there, and I'll use the 2, move 2 to there. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, I will play Foundations. Well, I'll get 2 energy first. Foundations Sink into Mud, and that will cost 1. And then I think I will. Play this as well. In which case, no, I will keep those 2 there, and I will move this in there using that. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 water, which gives me 3 tokens. I will 1 away from a wetlands where I have presence there. I will isolate this land and push that. And then I will repeat that on this land. I'll need to isolate that and push that in there. Do I want to repeat? No, I will keep that as it is. I do not reach that, but I do defend. I don't need defend. That's the end of the fast power phase then. We will... we're still healthy. We go to the event cards. Strange Madness among the beasts. Each beast destroys one Dahan. Remove one beast from each board, or I can pay aided by animal. Remove any number of beasts. Each spirit may push one beast to an adjacent land. I think I'm going to... I want to keep them on the board. So each beast, I'll choose option 1. Each beast destroys one Dahan. I'll take him out. That beast is not in a land with Dahan. Remove one beast from each board. I'm going to remove this. And so Savage Frenzy. Each beast destroys one explorer and deals 2 damage. So we'll take him out. Deal 2 damage. That gives 1 fear. So we just need to get rid of that town in land number 1. On each board, push 2 Dahan from a land with those tokens to a land without any of those tokens. So there is no such land. No fear cards. Ravage in the mountains, nothing. Building in sands and wetlands. So we're building in sands. That gets a town. Nothing there. Nothing there. This gets a town. Those are both isolated. This is going to gather in there. That's isolated, so there's no gather. Nothing to gather in there, and that's isolated. And then we go on to the explore sands and mountains. So we're going to sands and sands, mountain and mountain, and then invader cards advance. And we go to the slow power phase. So I am going to I'm going to destroy this. 2 damage. That generates a fear. We get a fear card. If target one is wetland, so there's no other use for these, so I will just take the energy for those. That gives me 2 energy. That's a 4, and then we are done with this round. I give that up. Okay, so I think for this turn I'm going to take growth option 3, so I can gain a major. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, so sleep and never waken. Invader sleep all actions in target land. That could be quite good for the sands, actually. And I would, death falls gently from open blossoms, 4 damage. That's a slow power. Could be good. Grant hatred of a ravenous form. Slow again, and target spirit gains a major by drawing 2. I think I'm going to take sleep and never waken. It's the lowest cost, and I need a low cost power at the moment, and it is actually quite good because I think I'll be able to hit the threshold on it. So I'm going to add a presence to this sands and gain 1 energy, and then I gain 2 from the presence track. I'm going to play Instruments of Their Own Ruin Sleep and never waken and grow through sacrifice. And I think I have enough to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and then 0 for that. So, I think for this I'm going to target this land. I will generate 1 fear per 2 explorers there, so that's 2 fear for the 4 explorers in there. 1 fear because it only removes 2. Okay. Invader skip all actions in this land. We'll put a reminder there. I don't hit the threshold. That's not good. That could be a problem. If I take that instead, I could I don't have the money. Okay. Let's keep doing. Let's keep going with that. So that's that resolved. For instruments of their own ruin, I'm going to add a strife in here. That's going to deal 2 damage and generate another fear. And then that's that resolved. Destroy. I'm going to destroy this presence. And remove. Oh, no, I won't do that. I'll destroy this. And then remove this blight. Battery blight card. I don't meet the threshold for that. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 water. Which gives me 2 tokens. And I'm going to use them for energy. So I'll take 2 energy. Those should be removed. And that is the end of this phase. So we're still healthy. Event card. We're at terror level 2 on each board. If the Han outnumber a town city by 2 or more, replace 1 town with 1 Dahan. We do outnumber, so I will replace 1 town with 1 Dahan, replace this with 1 Dahan, and that is that. Terror level 2 victory. Man, this game, it's just so much fun sometimes. I hope that that gave you a good idea of Downpour and how it plays. I think we got off to a good start, and then I find with Downpour it struggles sometimes to generate a lot of damage, so I think we were kind of stumbling along towards the finish line there. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just so much fun, this game. So I think I'll leave it there for now. If you have any comments or anything I missed, put them in the comments section below. That would be really appreciated. For this card, we would have been at terror level 2, so that would have invaders do not build in lands where Dahan outnumber towns, cities. Yeah, I mean, I think we probably could have got there in the end, but yeah, good to get a win. But like I said, thanks for watching. Comments below if you saw anything I missed or mistakes I made, and hopefully see you again next time. Thank you.